with a ghostwriter. What the f happened?
So I was listening to Redemption by J-Rock the other day.
Redemption like we been lit.
And I can't help but listen to this album and think, man, like some of these verses sound like Kendrick. Some of these bars sound like something Kendrick would say. And it starts off at track number 1, The Bloodiest, which is essentially J-Rock saluting his gang affiliation, The Bloodiest.
On the bloodiest, whip clean on the bloodiest.
Like many of you guys, I've been listening to Kendrick Lamar for years. I kind of know Kendrick's flow and his cadence. Every so often he surprises us, but I can pretty much understand how he sets up certain bars. And I'm listening to this song, The Bloodiest.
Battle scars and tribulations, downfall from situations.
And I'm like, there's no way Kendrick didn't write some of these bars.
I bounced off with dedication, accounted for my participation.
For instance, verse 2 of The Bloodiest, J-Rock goes,
Getting pounds off, getting rounds off, getting blocks back, I facilitated.
when I sound off, you a groundhog. That's a casket and a pillow waiting.
When it sound off, you a groundhog, that's a casket and a pillow waiting.
Prototypical Kendrick Lamar bars.
Hey y'all, I am a one-man show. I record, edit the video myself, create the thumbnail, everything. So hitting like and subscribe does help a bunch. Thanks so much. Back to the video.
Battle scars and tribulations, downfall from situation, I bounce off with dedication, accounted for my participation, getting pounds off, getting rounds off, getting blocks back, I facilitated. When I sound off, you a groundhog, that's a casket and a pillow waiting. This is Kendrick Lamar cadence, description, everything. Does no one else hear this but me? I even tried to put this part of the verse into AI with Kendrick Lamar's voice.
Battle scars and tribulations, downfall from the situations I bounced off with dedication, accounted for my participation, getting pounds off, getting rounds off, getting blocks back, I facilitated.
Just to see what it would sound like if Kendrick Lamar spat it. Let me know if I'm alone on this. And there's another song that I think Kendrick had a huge hand in writing. It's called Knock It Off.
Dear God, I want to thank you for this big redemption. Dear God, I want to thank you for this bad bitch I got on my side right here.
Top off, drop off.
Top off, drop off.
And I remember listening to this when this album Redemption first came out in, what was it, 2018? I remember listening to this album on the way home from work. And this was the very first song that made me even question if Kendrick was writing for J-Rock on this album.
You ain't me, nigga. Knock it off.
This is the first song that made me think of it because it's so different than any other thing I've heard from J-Rock. And it kind of has not only the cadence that Kendrick Lamar uses, but also some of the humor that he puts in his verses sometimes.
I like top when she all on me. Panties drop when they call on me.
Even just the hook, top off, drop off, where the cash at, like.
Top off, drop off.
This is Kendrick, you know, on this silly type vibe, you know what I mean? And even the flow of the verses. I listened to J-Rock's music. I heard of J-Rock before I heard of Kendrick Lamar. I kind of know how J-Rock raps, kinda. I'm not like that super versed in J-Rock as I am Kendrick, but I kind of know how the guy raps. And the way J-Rock is delivering these verses,
Skin tight fade with the red Cortez. Clip ain't in, but it's one in the head.
it reminds me of how Kendrick Lamar will change his voices and do all these different weird types of voices to deliver a verse.
Girl, don't play with it, heard what I said. Girl, don't play with it, heard what I said. Ain't no
Verse 1, for example. Eastside Johnny, I wanna say what it is.
Eastside Johnny on one, ain't no question what it is.
2, 2, 3, I let you. Like, this is Kendrick doing this little high-pitched delivery. Let me know in the comments. Am I alone on this? 2 those seats, you know me. Windows tinted so the law don't see.
2 those seats, you know me. Windows tinted so the law don't see.
So yeah, Knock It Off. This is the first song that I heard where I even questioned if Kendrick Lamar was writing on this album. And it's because of the delivery. It's because of, again, that cadence, but also the humor that's in here. It's not like in-your-face comedy, but there's just humor in the way the verses are being delivered, the way that certain words are being said, that I hear in Kendrick's music often, that I don't really hear in J-Rock's music. Again, when we talk about delivery and cadence, Tap Out, which is one of the singles from this album featuring Jeremih.
Tap out.
This is another song where I'm like, on that same drive home from work, I'm driving home and I'm hearing this album for like the 6th or 7th time. It's my first time hearing the album, but I'm hearing it differently. Now that I've listened to Knock It Off, and I'm kind of like, yo, Kendrick, either, the first thing I thought is like, yo, Kendrick should have been a feature on this because this sounds like the type of song Kendrick would make. And then I start hearing the verses. I'm like, actually, that sounds like something Kendrick would say. Did Kendrick write on this album? So it's on Tap Out. This is the next song where I'm listening to it and I'm like, Kendrick could also be a feature on this. And Kendrick could have said some of this stuff. In this song, for me, it's less of the verses and like the writing, and again, more of the delivery.
Got a text where you at, ayy.
especially this part right here.
Ass like Bernie's Virgos. Capricorn, Libra, Virgo.
This is one of Kendrick's, more, sneaky type deliveries, more mischievous deliveries. Capricorn, Libra, Virgo.
Sliding down your tongue like Merlot.
Sliding down your tongue like Merlot.
How you feel? I may be too raw for you, too real.
To me, as somebody who's been listening to Kendrick for a decade plus, when I hear this, especially verse 2, parts of it, I wouldn't say all of it, but parts of it, especially this part, to me, this screams Kendrick Lamar.
Fuck you in the car in the back, oh yeah, yeah. Fuck you so good, call back, oh yeah, yeah.
To me, this has Kendrick Lamar's pen all over it, in my opinion. Can we just speculate, man? And then there's a song, King's Dead. If I'm not mistaken, there is a reference track or there's rumors or some type of confirmation that Kendrick actually wrote this verse from J-Rock.
And it's like that, little MVP. I don't get no sleep, no, I don't like that, little.
And it's like that little MVP. I don't get no sleep, no, I don't like that little.
Bust that open, I want that ocean, yeah, that bite back, little.
Bust that open, I want that ocean, yeah, that bite back, little.
Do it bite back, little. Need to like Jack, little.
Like that whole little flow, that we all know that's Kendrick. We've heard Kendrick do that. We've heard this rhyme scheme from Kendrick before. So I actually think there is confirmation already out there that Kendrick wrote this verse. So I don't think I have to go too far on this. I was actually late on this verse. Of all the verses on this album where I felt like Kendrick might have had a hand, I wasn't really thinking about this one. But even some of the diction, the word choice, Armageddon, Boss Like Top Dog, Hall of Fame all in my posters. Like, come on, man. And I guess you really wouldn't make these correlations so strongly if you didn't know how J-Rock rapped before. I've heard J-Rock songs. I like some of his songs. He has a song called Antisocial that I think is really good. Redemption is a lot better than his other albums. It stands out. And I think that's because of who? Okay. And then the last song I want to get to is a song called Win. Win, 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 win. This is a song everybody knows, right?
Win, 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 win.
So Kendrick Lamar is not listed as a feature on this song, Win. He is credited, Duckworth, but he's not listed as a feature. And on this song, Kendrick is just doing the ad-libs. It's kind of like on that Playboi Carti song, Mojo Jojo, where Kendrick is actually featured on that song. He's credited as a feature, but he's just doing ad-libs. And this is one of those songs where I'm like, okay, let me listen to this. I'm listening to it, and maybe like on my third or fourth listen, like, again, none of this is on my first listen. On my first listen, I'm just like, yo, this Redemption album, this is a great album. But on subsequent listens, I'm hearing the album, and I'm like, wait, is that Kendrick?
Bring friends.
Doing the ad-libs? Yeah. I'm like, oh, that is Kendrick. The way my brain works is like, yo, that would have been dope if Kendrick had a verse on this. And then I'm listening to J-Rock rap.
Fuck niggas don't stay outside when I play outside. I put the beats on them like Dre outside.
Fuck niggas don't play outside when I be outside. I put the beats on them like Dre outside. I got the bell outside and LA outside. Like, I'm like, whoa. That would sound dope if Kendrick said that's something Kendrick would say. This is what I'm thinking. That's something Kendrick will say. That's what's up. And then my brain just goes straight to like, yo, did Kendrick write on this? Like, did Kendrick write on this? Even this part, hit my plug just to re-up, and he was like, boop, here.
Hit my plug just to re-up, and he was like, boop, here.
You can't tell me that's not K-Dot mannerisms. And there's a song on this album called Redemption. It's the title track. The album's called Redemption. The song is called Redemption. And it's this super personal song about J-Rock. He experienced a near fatal accident, a motorcycle crash.
I think about if my motorcycle crash was fatal.
And of all the songs that I heard on this album, I never thought Kendrick even had a hand in writing this.
Going through surgery, 2 machines helping me breathe.
Because it's such a personal song. It seems like something that J-Rock maybe wrote in a hospital or wrote, just in retrospect. So this is the last song that I thought Kendrick would even have a hand in. But lo and behold, I would learn that there is a reference track to this song with Kendrick Lamar on it.
I think about if my motorcycle crash was fatal. Going through surgery, 2 machines helping me breathe.
Going through surgery, 2 machines helping me breathe.
I see my funeral pack, I see some lying, some crying.
I see my funeral pack, I see some lying, some crying, and some giving dap.
I see false claimers, strangers, and foes with their head in their laps.
I see false claimers, strangers, and foes with their head in their laps.
So this is J-Rock talking about his direct experience in the hospital with the motorcycle crash, the tubes in them.
Two machines helping me breathe.
It is Kendrick rapping it. Now, mind you, this doesn't confirm that Kendrick wrote the song. Again, we're just speculating and looking at what's out there. But when we hear reference tracks, what do we think? We think somebody wrote the song and said, okay, bro, this is for you. This is how you say it. Do it like this. Just exactly like this. So we can see here, this is on the Boxed In forums. 3 years ago, people were posting the reference tracks, Kendrick Lamar reference tracks for J-Rock plus more. We can see the King's Dad reference track.
Miss me with that bullshit.
What do y'all think? Y'all think Kendrick wrote a huge chunk of this Redemption album? Again, it was that one fateful drive home from work where I just heard this album for like the 7th or 8th time, and I just heard it differently for some reason. And I'm like, yo, I can hear not only Kendrick featuring a verse on some of these songs, I can hear Kendrick actually having written some of these verses. So what do y'all think? Obviously, J-Rock is a capable rapper. I've been hearing about J-Rocks for years, longer than I've heard about Kendrick, right? He's a capable rapper, but yo, the Kendrick Lamar pen, that I think it helped J-Rock deliver far and away his best album. Redemption is far and away J-Rock's best album. And I think a large part of that is because of Kendrick. And think about Kendrick, let's say what I'm saying is true. To give away a hit record like Win.
Win.
Yeah.
To just give that, like, yo, it's cool. I got more over here. You can have this one. That's a hit record. They play that to this day. Sports arenas, stadiums. To just get that to J-Rock. And we know the song would have been bigger. Kendrick was the lead artist on it. That would have been a much bigger song. That probably would have been, maybe it would have been Kendrick's first #1 record. That would have been a much huger record than what it was. Just think about Kendrick's pen. Like he got so much. He's just giving hits away. Like here. Kendrick Lamar has writing credits on Schoolboy Q's Num Num Juice. He's writing for this guy, for that guy, and he's writing his own stuff. Like, this is one of the greatest writers in hip hop history, like certainly of this generation. So anyway, what do y'all think? Redemption, Kendrick, is it Kendrick? Is it J-Rock featuring Kendrick Lamar? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Top5rapwebsite.com. Peace.